For the longest time, I felt like I was going crazy. It was like living in a minefield, where any conversation, no matter how small, could just explode.
I mean, you know that feeling, right? One minute, everything's totally fine, and the next, you're in this huge, full-blown war. And you're just standing there wondering, how? How did we even get here?
So, the story for me, the one that finally pushed me over the edge and into therapy, it started just like that. I'd come home from work, completely exhausted, and I asked what I thought was just a simple, practical question.
And his response, wow. It felt like a slap in the face. It was so cold, so defensive, and just completely out of proportion to what I'd asked. I was just bewildered and hurt. And the thing is, this wasn't the first time. The constant exhaustion from walking on eggshells, it was absolutely crushing me. It was taking a huge toll on my mental health. So, in therapy, I finally discovered there was a clue, a key to this whole mystery. There was a name for what was happening to us, a kind of hidden architecture behind all these painful, repetitive, pointless fights. It's a concept that comes from a theory called transactional analysis. And really, all it describes is what happens when our communication lines get totally crossed, instantly. Okay, so let's really dive into this, because this one simple analogy, it changed everything for me. Imagine you're playing tennis, right? You hit the ball over the net, you're expecting a tennis ball to come back. But instead, the other person just throws a hard, fast cricket ball right at your face. It's from a completely different game. So this theory says we all have these different modes, or ego states, we operate from, like an adult, a parent, or a child. So on the left, you see a nice, smooth game of tennis. That's a parallel transaction. My logical adult brain asks, what's for dinner? And his logical adult brain responds, not sure, let's get pizza. Easy. But look at the right. That's what was actually happening. My adult asks the same question, but suddenly his hurt emotional child self snaps back. And boom, collision. The conversation just crashes and burns right there. All right, so this is the huge question, right? Why does this happen? And what I started to realize was that these fights, they were almost never actually about what was happening right now. And this was my Rosetta Stone, the key to everything. When he reacted so defensively about dinner, he wasn't actually reacting to me. He was reacting to an old wound. He was taking all these feelings from a past relationship and just projecting them onto me. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? When someone's reaction is way, way bigger than your comment, they aren't hearing you. They're hearing someone from their past. In his head, in his nervous system, he wasn't hearing his partner asking about dinner. He was hearing an ex-girlfriend criticizing him again. And once I saw it, I started seeing these patterns everywhere. These little landmines, talking about money or how the house is run or career choices, even just asking about the future. It's like these topics are wired to these deep, old programs about shame or guilt or what our parents expected of us. The amazing thing was, learning this wasn't just about figuring out the problem. It actually gave me a toolkit. I went from being this confused victim in every fight to a conscious participant who could actually change the outcome. So I learned this new set of moves, my new playbook. First, you notice the shift, that sudden spike in heat. Then, and this is the hard part, you pause. You don't defend. Your gut will scream at you to fight back, but you have to resist it. Then you bring your rational adult brain back online. Take a breath. Remind yourself this isn't about you. And finally, you offer reassurance. You respond to the hurt person underneath, not to the angry words they're saying. Okay, so this is what's so cool. Let's replay that whole dinner conversation, but this time with the new tools. Just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got the crash. He snaps, and my own defensive child self snaps right back. Why are you so defensive? And boom, escalation, full-blown fight. But on the right, you see the repair. He says the exact same thing, but this time my adult self steps in. I recognize his hurt. I say, hey, I'm not blaming you. I'm exhausted too. Let's just order something easy. And just like that, de-escalation, connection, no fight, problem solved. So this is the question I leave you with, the one that guides my life now. When someone overreacts to you, are you listening to their words or are you listening to their history? Look, understanding this hasn't magically stopped every single misunderstanding, but it has stopped the war. And for me, that has meant everything. It has meant peace.